Today we are going to study about The Patriot. It's the 8th chapter by Robert Browning. Beautiful poem. Now, before we start with the chapter, let's know what is patriot. So, patriot means a person who loves his country, and is very zealous towards it, and he feels loyal towards his nation. So, patriot means देशभक्त, जो देश पे मर मिटने के लिए हमेशा तैयार रहते हो, वैसे लोगों को देशभक्त कहते हैं, वैसे लोगों को पैट्रियट कहते हैं. Alright. So the central idea of the poem revolves around the rise and fall of one's fortune. Remember, the world is dynamic, fickle and transient. The people may help you to sit on the shoulder, but the next moment you never know when they will pull you down. So remember, whenever you have good times, be very subtle, be thankful to God, never be proud, never be ambitious, never get over ambitious with your thinking. So let's come to the chapter, The Patriot. We are talking here about one of the Italian patriots who fight against the Austrians and tried to free his country from their power. Okay. So, the first chapter, it was roses, roses all the way. Remember, the patriot is arriving and the people just try to hear the sound. The people, they are cheering, they are waiting for their hero to come, and they are throwing roses, rose flowers and myrtle, that means evergreen shrubs, were strewn around the path of the patriot. A visual imagery, it was roses, roses all the way, that means roses were thrown all the way, there were shrubs thrown on the path, with myrtle mixed in my path like mad. The people, they go crazy, they go berserk. Remember, here the narrator is the patriot himself. He is delving on the past, thinking about his past. So the first stanza tells what really happened a year ago. Thinking about his glorious past, the house roof seemed to heave and sway. Personified, the house roof is personified. It is heaving and swaying with so many people on the top of the roof. Just want to have a glance, of this hero. The church spires flamed such flags they had. So they had those flags, Italian flags, and spires, that pyramidal structure on the top of the building is known as spire. A year ago on this very day, as I already told you, that he is recalling his glorious day a year ago, how he was welcomed by his people. In the next stanza, the air broke into a mist with bells. There were, mist with bells. It's an auditory imagery. The old walls rocked with the crowd and cries. People, they were crying the name of their hero. Had I said good folk, mere noise ripples, You know, that was the time when the patriot got a little carried away, a little more ambitious. Generally, people grow over ambitious at this stage. So was our patriot. And see how heavily he is going to pay in the remaining stanzas. How heavily we are going to pay for our over ambitiousness. Generally, we all get a little carried away in such times. But give me your son from yonder skies. So here, pretty more ambitiously, over ambitiously, the patriot asks from his people that give me the most important thing. Give me the power. Sun here symbolizes the power. It shows authority. Right. Give me your son. Son, that is power. Hyperbole. They had answered, and afterward what else? You know, the people, they went berserk and they crazily asked, just what else? This is nothing. We are going to give you more. Alack, it was I who leapt at the sun. In the third stanza, there is an allusion. There is a biblical allusion. An example of Bible is given here just to justify what really went wrong with our patriot. It was I who leapt at the sun. So leapt at the sun is an allusion to one such old story from the Bible. It's a biblical allusion where Icarus came very near to the sun. It's a story of father and son duo. Father Daedalus invented a pair of wings for him as well as his son, and their plan was to run away secretly from their imprisonment. They were imprisoned in a castle. Remember, the father Daedalus time and again suggested his son not to fly very high. But Icarus, he was something else in his mind. Next morning, when both father and son secretly flew away to their destination, the son forgot his father's advice, and in order to fly very high, he reached near the sun. And in the due course of time, just because of the wax that had joined his wings to his shoulder, that started melting, and eventually in a short span of time, Icarus came crashing to the ground and he died. So the example of Icarus here is shown here to highlight the over ambitiousness of the patriot and its drastic result. Let's see, the drastic result is yet to come. The patriot also became over ambitious. Let's find out what is meted out. To give it, my loving friends to keep, naught man could do have I left undone. So he did whatever thing he could do. He did it best. He did it best. And you see my harvest. Harvest, that means the produce, the result. What I did. This very day, now a year is run. The same day when he was welcomed as a hero. And see, the same day after a year, or the present situation, there is nobody on the housetop now. Just a palsied few at the window set. For the best of the sight is all allowed. At that time, 1 year ago, he returned home victorious. He defeated the Austrians, but now he was defeated. And just because of him, some other patriots also passed away. So now the people around him think that he is the culprit. So let's punish him. They forgot that the same person returned victorious a year ago. They forgot. And it happened with our sports stars also. Our sporting celebrities, when they win any match, we just rejoice. And the moment when some of them become the reason of defeat, we really try to burn them with our language, with our words. But we should not forget that they also are human beings like us. Anyway, let's see what is there in the fate of this patriot. No more crowding on the roof. They all are waiting at some of them, they are crowding at the Shamble Gate. Shamble Gate, where the people gathered to see how the culprit is going to be hung or going to be executed. So now the same hero becomes a villain, becomes a poison for everyone. At the Shambles Gate, or better yet, by the very scaffold's foot. A scaffold is a platform or a structure where the criminal are punished. Now, the same hero, the patriot, becomes a criminal. He's treated as a criminal and is going to be punished, going to be beheaded. In the 5th stanza, a very pathetic scene is depicted. I go in the rain and more than needs, a rope cuts both my wrists behind. How pathetic. Visual imagery which shows that the patriot's wrist is being, slowly bleeding. And I think by the feel my forehead bleeds. Some of them had pelted some stones on him in order to teach this patriot a lesson. Now he has become a culprit. He has become a villain. Right. So, and I think by the feel my forehead bleeds, for the whoever fling that must throw pelted stones at me for my year's misdeed. They think it's an evil deed. So he's treated as a criminal, as a villain. In the last stanza, thus I entered and thus I go. So see how he entered the city as a hero, and now how he is exiting from this city. He will be either hung or he will be either executed. In trance, people have dropped down dead. An example of alliteration. Earlier also, flamed flag, myrtle mixed mine. These all are the example of alliteration. Paid by the world, what dost thou owe me? God might question now instead. 'Tis God shall repay, I'm safer so. So we all are paid for our action. And sometimes we are misunderstood and we are somehow, receive such reward or such punishment which we are not responsible even. But in the fag end, the patriot, he is very confident. He is at ease. He knows that these people may do some injustice with him, but that Almighty, in His vision, He definitely will reward him. So with an optimistic note, the poet is ending up the poem, and it's really very ironic that it's really an irony in a very ironical way that the patriot, while dying also, has faith in God that he'll be treated very nicely, because he is confident that he has not done anything wrong. So 2-3 things which we have learned from the patriot. 1, don't be over ambitious. 2, fickle minded people are around you, so don't get carried away. If they have kept you in their good books, be very thankful to God, be very humble. And 3rd, one has this rise to glory and fall to the floor. This rise and fall are the part and parcel of our life. It is ongoing process, right? So thank you very much for listening to me. Goodbye.